Welcome back to Two and a Half Chicks. On today's episode, we bring back our guest, Tim, from the Drinking Stories episode to join us again to talk about the topic of group sex. Monica and Brian asked Tim and I questions, interview style, about our sex adventures that started a bit later in life. Brian shares how his differed doing it in his younger rock star days. We talk about how we evolved as a couple, the part my bisexuality played, and how it led to a bit of a swinging phase. We cover sex scenarios, rules, how we only played with other people in the lifestyle, erroneous assumptions, if jealousy played a part, and why we stopped. Or did we? Would we do it again? Join us for an open and spirited discussion that's Two and a Half Chicks style. Hey everybody, welcome back to Two and a Half Chicks. It's me, Tess, and Monica, and Brian.
Hi!
Monica, you sounded surprised.
God,
How many times have we done this, Monica?
I almost forgot. I was going to stay quiet.
I know, I finally got it right to pause.
Yes.
So today we're going to talk about group sex. And we brought a guest back in that was with us before for our Drinking Stories episode. So welcome Tim back to the show.
Hi, Tim.
I'm sober today.
You sober today?
You weren't sober last time?
Yeah, I was sober last time.
Oh, okay.
I was drinking last time, though.
Okay.
We brought Tim back on because, as we've talked about before on this show, Tim and I have had group sex experiences together. And so we thought we might share some of those experiences. And Brian, I think you have some experiences of your own to share, don't you?
Yeah, from a while ago. A long while ago. No. I'm happy with the one-on-one now.
Just to clarify, you experienced the group sex like when a lot of people do, like back when you're young and being wild and going through that party stage and all that, right?
Yep. I told everybody in the past I was in a heavy metal band, and we used to go back to our buddy's house. We called it the Den of Sin. And that's where everything just took place. And this was back before condoms were popular. So you could imagine.
Okay. So we, on the other side of that, we did it in our 30s. Tim, you might have been close to 40 when we did it. Yeah, I think. So we did it later in life. Not quite a party stage thing. Kind of, I wouldn't even say late enough to be in midlife crisis either. Just we just kind of, there's an evolution that we'll talk about.
Em and I were having a conversation about what we were going to talk about this week. I said, yeah, you're going to get to hear about all my past antics. And she's like, again?
I haven't heard them yet.
I mean, there's more.
Yeah, exactly, right? So then so I said, we're going to have to talk about group sex, I think. She goes, I don't know how people could do that. I wouldn't want everybody's stuff on me. It's like,
that's what I was worried about too. That's one of my questions.
Oh man.
My response is usually with group sex, there's a lot of condom wearing. So
yeah, I don't think she even was worried about the condom. I think it was a plethora of everything, like body sweat and saliva and everything.
Sharing
she was
all
just
that.
kind of like, that's a lot of fluid going around.
I don't know. In the moment, I didn't even think about it, to be honest.
Oh, I agree. That's what I told her. When you're in the throes of passion, nobody's thinking about that. You don't think about that the next day, and you think to yourself, oh boy, what did I do? What did I get myself into? What am I going to catch? When's the cold sore coming? You know, it's like all these things go through your head.
I didn't have that worry.
And the morning after pill didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
But go ahead. All right, let's hear a little bit from you guys.
So just a little bit of background. I'm not going to go too crazy with the background story. We didn't just all of a sudden decide, we're going to start having group sex. That's just not how it started. And if somebody would have told me years ago that I was going to be a person in a marriage having group sex, I would have thought they were freaking nuts. I don't know, Tim. You probably you too, right?
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
If somebody had told me that, I would have thought they were crazy.
So basically, we started as a couple that was never really 100% single together. And not single, but childless together. Because when Tim and I started dating, he had 2 small children already. So we had, a lot of family stress on the relationship right from the start. Which, Brian, you know a little something about that now too, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, you when you have kids involved in a relationship, you have to put some real intentionality into your romance staying alive. You have to make sure that you don't let that spark go, because I call kids a big focus change, right? Mm-hmm. They change your focus a lot. So we started like doing things to try and keep the spark, alive.
Well, because we started losing the spark, and we had a conversation about that. Just how are we going to get it back? What are we going to do? And I think that's where it really started, our communication.
Yeah, probably that makes sense.
So who's the one that started who said, all right, let's fuck other people?
Well, it didn't go that way. So
I'm sorry. That's just how I would have said it.
Okay, so there's two things. There's the fact that we started sharing erotic photography, which I think I've shared before early on. And then we started having ideas like, Tim, how would you describe it when we people do theme nights or you start doing things creatively.
We're sharing pictures back and forth, and then along with the pictures started coming comments on the picture and how
writing story,
how we felt about the picture, and then we started writing into stories that it'd be the two of us. And
okay, so this was just between the two of you,
correct?
Just as a start.
Now we were
trying to explain how we
each other
evolved.
these stories or emailing each other these stories.
Okay.
Now, why were you not able to tell each other's face?
I think it's probably just the erotic side of it.
It is the erotic side of it.
Okay.
And there's also a confidence that comes with writing an email rather than looking somebody in the eye and admitting these feelings, admitting what you want to do to her. Even though we had a background, it was easier for me to write a story and have the confidence to be able to say,
yeah, that's fair.
I like this. I think we should do this. Let's try.
But you guys had already been intimate by this point.
Oh my God, for years.
Now we're married at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, we'd been together. We'd been married. Let me see. We'd been married 5 years before any of this started. Before any of the group sex started. We started, we'd been together a long time before we started doing this stuff, evolving. But then, the group sex wasn't until we were married 5 years. So we started evolving, and we started kind of writing fantasies, if you will. That's kind of what we were writing, is fantasies to each other or ideas.
It makes sense because think about it, Monica. When you're in the throes of passion with your person and the lights are completely out in the room, you feel like you could say more. They don't see your facial expressions. They don't see anything. You're a little more open. It's like you're in this void, right? Where you could just kind of say whatever you want. And you feel like there's, they're just hearing your words. They're not seeing your reactions. You're not seeing their reaction. So I guess emailing is kind of the same way. And
part of it too is because, during the day and with kids and work and all that stuff, you get home at night and you're not necessarily feeling very sexual. So having sharing that stuff with each other and getting to read it before we got home and ready for bed got us more in a sexual frame of mind.
Yeah. And there were times that either one of us would write and all of a sudden we'd get home and go, hey, okay, now let's talk about it. And we'd sit down and have a discussion about it. Our communication has grown substantially because of our writings back and forth.
That's good.
We still actually do a lot of talking in email, the two of us, because it gives each of us a chance to think and respond. So we do a lot of our couple communication through emails.
Wow. See, I couldn't do that because I'm such a shoot from the hip person. If I have time to think about it, I'll erase that email 16 times before I find the final draft.
Yep.
Same here, though, because I need time to think about it, and I can't shoot from the hip. I need that time to think about it. If I shoot from the hip, I'm going to shove something in my shoes.
Me too, but I live with that consequence because that's how I am, right? I'm willing to deal with that shoe in the mouth.
Yep.
Because I just need you. The first thing out of my mouth is going to be the true emotion, and then after, I didn't mean that, but I really did mean it.
Right. Yeah, so that's where these stories help, is because with the emailing, you get a chance to sit back and have that reaction without having the reaction shared. You know what I mean? You don't have that from the hip,
right?
Fuck off kind of a thing. You have this, all right, let me think about it. You know what? That is kind of cool. Let me respond to that. And we could take it in whatever direction we want to go, depending upon where we're going. I would write a complete story, or I would write an open-ended story, and she would add to it. That was fun too.
So you just kind of wrote a script together.
I still have a lot of the emails from over the years.
We should have kept it. We could have had a book.
Yeah, I should do that. So where we decided to expand that beyond the two of us was because when we were dating, I had told him that I might be bisexual. And I've talked about that on the show before. And we decided at one point, after all of this exploration together, that I had still been on my mind. And so he supported the idea of me trying to figure that out. Right. So that's where the idea of bringing other people came into the mix. And we got on a swinger site just for me to find a woman to experiment with.
Mhm.
And when we did that, it was easier to find couples than women because
Right.
it's hard to find a single woman that wants to be with a couple. So we were going to do it together and we were trying to find a single woman. We did, but it was easier to find more couples. And then we met a great couple on the swinging site that I really hit it off with as a friend. Like she became a really, really good friend of mine. And then we met her husband and I don't know, like one thing led to another and it ended up being the four of us and not me and Tim and a girl. And we had a really good time.
Right. But Tim, so when you guys first started talking about this and the idea came up, when she said, I think I might be bisexual, what was your thought right away?
I immediately supported it. There's no
Okay.
reason why I should stand in her way and limit her experience. If that's part of what she needs, the only way she's going to find out for sure or not is to try it. And if she tries it and doesn't like it, okay, at least you know what's
Mm-hmm.
That was when we were dating. We didn't try it for 5 years.
Right.
So he had to
Right.
re-examine how he felt about it when the reality hit.
So you're like, I might be bisexual. 5 years goes by, and then you're like, I think I'm bisexual again. Not
No,
again.
I mean, it was always
I don't mean
there,
again,
but I just
but
didn't act
yeah.
on it.
Why do you think you didn't act on it in those 5 years?
Right.
Because of our lives. We had a baby
Okay.
in that time. We had his 2 kids. We had blended family drama. We had,
Okay.
like I said, we had a child. Our child was 2 years old at this point where we started this conversation again. So we were pretty, again, that focus change.
So now let's fast forward. We're at the 5. You guys had a great time together. You guys are enjoying each other's special parts with your special partners.
So wait, was that 4-way the first time you guys had ever had any type of?
So the first time, I don't know how back,
So I envision
Um,
like Tim and this other guy sitting back having a beer, watching 2 girls go at it.
No, not at all. But well, you had your experience, and then there was a couple of like what would you call them? Experiences that we had, people that we had met before we met our 2 friends. We had gone out to dinner quite a few times, less than a handful of times, but went out to meet people, and there were some we clicked with, some we didn't click with.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was one time we had dinner in Burbank with a couple, and it was one of our first couples, and we decided to go back to their apartment. We went back to the apartment, and nothing ever happened.
that was all after S&C, honey.
I remember it differently, but that's okay.
Oh, it's been a lot of years.
S&C's not a club. That's 2 people's names, right?
Yes.
It's 2 initials, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I was wondering, like, what is that a term for?
Exactly, Monica.
I thought it was like
Yeah,
a
I
polycule
told
or
you.
something.
Exactly, Monica. Now we're going to use colors. We're not using letters anymore.
Yeah.
Your sister
So, yeah,
ruined that
so-
for us.
The first experience I had was a single me with another female one-to-one experience. And then that person showed an interest in bringing Tim into our experience.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that. But at the same time, around the same time period, we met this other couple. And this
Okay.
couple, we ended up going to dinner with, and we all really hit it off. And then when we got back to our house after, kid was at grandma's, never did anything in the house with him home. Just
Mhm.
got to put that out there.
I thought he was a photographer. Go ahead.
You're right. Yeah, 2-year-old photographer. That would
Oh,
have been an
2
interesting
years.
video.
I forgot.
2-year-old. Yeah. We were really nervous, to be honest. I mean, we were really nervous, and it took the other couples, the male of the other couple, to get things started by starting to disrobe his wife. And
Were they
that's
the
how it
same
got
age?
started.
Ish.
Yeah, ish. He was a little older than you, right?
Yeah.
How did you meet that couple? Was that the one you met on the site?
We met in, yeah. We met all the people at this time period on sites, swinging sites. Because that's the way, I mean, this was 16 years ago.
Okay.
So, we didn't have all the same availabilities that we have
Okay,
now.
so just something that I heard this weekend from somebody. Somebody told me that if there's a couple and one of them walks around with a piece of clothing that has pineapples on it, that means they're swingers. Is that true?
I have no idea.
I don't know that either. I heard that recently that there are
Oh my
certain.
God.
I heard that pineapples and what, gnomes?
Yeah, I think
Maybe?
so.
Didn't somebody say gnomes was also
I-
a clue?
I have no idea.
I was in Miami and a lot of people wear a lot of clothing with pineapples because it's Miami. And I kept hearing somebody say, like, oh, that's a swinging couple because the woman has a pineapple blouse. I'm like, I've never heard of that, but okay.
Monica, I heard that there's a place around here in Reno, like one of the bars that's like a key bar. You leave your key in the ashtray, and if you're interested, they find, I don't know how it works.
Oh.
I've never been there.
Yeah, you go to your
There's
car and they're
places
sitting in the
everywhere.
passenger seat.
Right?
Well, they have key parties too. Like there's all kinds of stuff in the swinging communities where they do key parties, and anyway, there's all kinds of stuff. Clubs, there's all
Yeah, we never
But
got that into
this-
it. Though.
Anyway, so back to the
No.
couple.
Yeah, so we this kind of started a little bit of a phase for us, right? So we had a lot of fun, and we that's Tim referred to meeting a bunch of couples and having meals with them because you want to see if you hit it off, if you like the people, if there's some kind of attraction or whatever. So we did meet quite a few people, but we didn't really end up pulling the trigger with all the people we met at all. We only did with a select few.
Yeah.
And the first couple that we slept with became friends and regular fuck buddies, for lack of a better way of saying it. And there was a real comfortability amongst the four of us.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just comfortable. It wasn't all passionate. It was actually fun and funny.
Yeah.
There was a lot of sense of humor.
Yeah.
So Tim, were you doing the whole thing where you're having sex from behind, the guy's having sex from behind, and you guys are high-fiving?
No. There's no Eiffel Tower going on. Nope.
Okay, what's an Eiffel Tower?
Well, an Eiffel Tower is if you got one guy in the back and one guy in the front, so the girl's in the middle, being spit roasted, if you excuse the Russian, and they high five, so that you got that Eiffel Tower.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I have the visual now. Okay.
Oh God, that's funny, Monica.
And honestly, that it could have happened. My recollection isn't the best of,
Right.
I don't remember all the positions we did.
But there
and,
was no high five.
I know I wasn't high fiving. I like
wasn't
high fives, but
high-fiving.
not while I'm naked. There's something weird about it.
Well,
Is that just like leaning your hand against the bathroom wall while
So-
you pee?
I don't understand
Just
that
don't do
either.
You just don't do it.
so what kind of things would you do so that, let's say it's just four, like a four-way with two couples. What kinds of things would you do to keep everyone occupied or make sure that everyone's getting pleasure?
So great. Monica, you almost sounded like you wanted to do it outside of this. You're going to leave the room and go and do this. You're looking for advice. That's what it sounded like. But to
No,
say
I'm not. But
to keep
I'm
everybody
very-
occupied sounds funny to me.
I'm always interested in the logistics of things. So
I think
Okay.
the hardest part about it is just getting started.
okay.
And once everybody gets into it, there's always something to do. You don't even think about it. You just kind of go with it.
Right. See, that's why I think
Yeah.
when I was younger, when I was doing all this stuff, so there was really no pressure or no thought process at all. It's not like we went on to a swinger site or we did anything. We just had people come to the house. It would start, you'd start screwing around with somebody, then somebody come in the room, and then somebody come in the room, and then they're like, "Oh, people are fucking in here," and then everybody would just show up.
And this was all in the dark, right, Brian?
yeah,
The lights were
exactly.
not on.
No, we had candles
Okay.
lit or something like that. It would be kind of fucking by the
That's a
light of
lot
the
more
stereo.
adventurous than what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a hell of a lot more
We're kinda
adventurous than what
boring.
we did.
Yeah.
Well, we were younger.
Yeah, exactly.
We were younger.
Yeah,
Like,
younger and adventurous.
Yeah. How many people at the most have you guys been with at the same time? It's always been like just foursomes?
A group of 5 of us.
Five
So
each?
Tim and I and 3 others. 2 men and a woman. So 3 men, 2 girls.
Oh, okay.
Now, are people allowed to break away into smaller groups?
We never
people
separated.
doing-
We were always in the same room.
Yeah, we it's really whatever the
Well,
people
even if you're in the same room, let's say out of the 5
Yeah,
people,
like
3
there's-
people
there's 2
are
beds
doing
in the room,
something,
Monica,
and then
you're saying-
2 people. Yeah, are there 2 groups of people doing 2 different things at once, but not to each other?
Yeah, that happened. There was times where I was with the husband and he was with the wife.
Yeah.
We were at the same time though. We were
Are you guys
in the same
staring at
room,
each
same
other?
bed.
Or were you
Well,
like
sometimes we
Concentrating
look
on what
at-
I'm doing.
Yeah.
No, but there was times where we looked at each other across the room and smiled. I
Yeah.
mean, we were happy. We were happy to be sharing it together,
Yeah.
and it brought us. To be honest with you, we felt like it brought us closer.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Okay.
I
It's
felt
like it's like that dick is in my wife. I feel so close to you right now.
Oh,
no, it was
Sorry.
it was really because I know what it's like to be with him, and I know how it feels and how
Mhm.
attracted I am to him. So to watch him doing that third party turned me on. To be able to
Right.
sit back and watch him do what I know he does to me to someone else was enjoyable to me visually.
Have you ever just stood there and just watched, just watched and not participated? I guess is the word.
He did
So
it.
basically,
I
she
didn't.
wants to know
He
if
did
Tess
it
was
But
with
I
a woman,
never-
and Tim sat there and rubbed one out watching.
No,
Or if
No.
Tim was with a woman and Tess was just watching.
I
Yes,
don't think
we both had that experience.
Okay.
He watched me with another woman, and I watched him with another woman once.
Did you rub it out,
No.
Tess?
No,
What?
It
What was the
just
point?
watching.
Well, you might as well crack your
Visually
phone out at
pleasing.
that point.
Check
It
the
w-
weather.
Well, Brian, no judgment, no judgment.
Oh no,
It's-
I'm just saying. It's just if you're like so like aroused by it, right? You think you'd be like, oh, all right, this is good. I'm going to add to this.
It wasn't. It wasn't a dirty experience for us. It was more just a pleasurable experience, for lack of a better way to say it.
Okay, because I mean, I've been in those
Okay.
experiences, but like, I'm rubbing it out, and someone's getting hit. Someone's
Yeah.
Target practice.
Yeah.
What if somebody can't
Yeah.
find something to do or a way to participate?
Start your resume, Monica. You can work on your resume.
No, we honestly didn't have that issue. We didn't.
Oh my god, that's great.
In fact, the couple that we were with, the man was very. We used to joke around and call him the director because he would always suggest.
That was my question. My next question was: is there like a follow the leader? Is there like somebody who sets the
No.
rules? No,
Not
Okay.
usually, no.
I
But
was that guy.
You were.
And there's
You
nothing
were?
wrong with that. It actually helps
Yeah.
having, throw things around like that.
How would you be the ruler or the leader, Brian?
Well, like there'd be times like I just tell, all right, you come over here. We're gonna do this. All right, grab his, grab that. All right, suck on hers thing. This, it was just.
Or they listen to you?
Yeah, absolutely, because they don't have to
You're
think.
the director.
Exactly, Tim.
Little camera.
I
Yeah.
even got the wind flow, velocity, and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Lighting.
Sometimes it
Yep.
helps.
Yeah. Yeah, it does help to have the guidance. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think the guy that we were with, he didn't get anything out of sitting back and watching. He wanted to be involved all the time. And that's just certain personalities. You're going to deal with
Okay.
all different kinds of personalities. So
Yeah. One of the funniest things I ever heard was one of my buddies. All I heard was him yell, "Eric, your dick is in my ear."
Oh,
Oh my god.
yeah.
that's
If you're
fun.
going to be in situations like this, you can't be afraid of the same.
Absolutely,
Can't
yeah,
be.
that's exactly right.
Can't be
Yeah.
homophobic.
Yeah. No, we never did each other. The guys
No.
never touched each other or anything like that.
Right.
It was never like that. It was always, and the girls would, they would go with each other, and then with the guys, if you got slapped every once in a while, like because it was dark and in a room, and you
Dark
just
and
see a
busy.
lot
Yeah.
of giggling and all that shit,
Yeah. I still maintain it was the most fun I ever had.
Do you set like rules before you start? Like, do you go over like, okay, none of this or do this or none of that? Like,
There can be. It depends on who you're with and what their viewpoints are. Tess and I had our rules before going into anything, before we even met anybody. We talked about that.
can we ask what your rules were? If you don't want to share them, then.
Go ahead.
I don't
Mike.
remember the rules. I was waiting for you to answer.
It's funny because I'm thinking to myself, if you're allowing yourselves to fuck other people, there shouldn't be that many
Well,
rules.
the rules
right?
could be I don't want you to ejaculate in somebody or don't go without a condom
Yes.
or
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Or no
I think-
kissing.
I think if I remember correctly, we were reserved anal for the two of us. We didn't
Correct.
want to do anal with other people. So I guess I do remember them.
I said, this
Oh.
isn't Pretty Woman. You got to be able to kiss other people. I'm sorry.
We did. Yeah, we
Yeah.
did that.
Okay.
But we didn't have any other rules, I don't think. Because I don't know. I kind of felt like at the time, I felt like if you're going to have too many rules, you're not really comfortable doing it.
Right. That's fair.
Fair enough.
At the time, I don't remember us feeling any discomfort at all. Like in the moment, I don't remember feeling that way.
Mhm.
Nerves, jealousy, nothing. I mean, nerves when we started, but I mean,
Right.
not nerves about each other being with somebody else.
Like heading back home afterwards, we always had that conversation of how it was, what happened while we were going through it. What did I miss? What did I miss?
Right.
That kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could see that excitement because one of my things was always like after, like even now to this day, I always talk like when I'm with Emma or something like that. I always say like, tell me about one of your past lovers. If you can get that visual in your head and just picture her with somebody else like that, I get aroused by that too. But I just never took it to the
Well,
yeah.
men do. Men
Yeah.
are very visual. We do that.
I mean, I don't want to go out and have group sex with her and everything like that. But it's just
Right.
I still use that visual. I still
It's
use
a
that.
fantasy.
Yeah, there's
Right.
still fantasy things. Yeah.
Yeah. What else you got, Monica?
Is there like a safe word that people can use in case they want to stop or they don't want to do something, or
Harder.
they just say no?
Safe words are usually, when you're doing, playing with power exchange, but we didn't really ever have a safe word for this because we could have just spoken up and said, I'm not comfortable, you know?
Okay.
I mean, safe words, I think, are more for, scene playing and,
I've always loved that joke about a safe word being meatloaf. I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Tim, did it happen where you guys were having group sex and you came first and you're like, oh, fuck, I came first. I want to go home.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just bored.
Yeah, and I don't recover quickly, so that's when I would sit back with my beer. All right, yeah, just enjoy yourself, honey.
Exactly. Because like you said, Des,
Most
you always
men
say,
don't.
once guys ejaculate, right, we're pretty much done. So if you're in a group sex setting and you come, you're just like, okay, where's the TV?
That's a great question,
Yeah.
Brian. I'm surprised I didn't write that one down.
I've learned to enjoy not finishing.
Yeah.
Because of the age and the whole thing. It just helps keep my mind in a sexual place longer.
But even then, like, you could control that. Like, you could stop if you feel like you're getting close and then, like, go back to it after,
It's not that
always
easy, yeah. Once you get to that urge, it's just, you feel like the ejaculate, it's pretty much about to hit the head of your penis and you stop. You're like, oh, God. Oh, it starts to drip now and everything. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, son of a bitch. Exactly.
And then you can't even finish
exactly.
it.
Then you just start cranking one out and you're like, son of a, that doesn't feel as good. And you're like, I just fucking
So you, like, ruin yourself, basically.
I ruined it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Got it.
You just described almost every man in America right now, or in the world.
It was fun. We had fun. Like, the 5-way ended up happening because the couple that we got together with had met this person, this other guy, and they had a really good experience with them. And they were coming over to our house one night and they called us and they said, we have a question for you. So I, put them on speakerphone and they said, look, we met this guy and if you're not comfortable, tell us no. But they basically said that they were wondering if he could come over too. They were coming over and he said, that he join us? We said, well, we don't guarantee anything's going to happen with him because we don't know how we feel about him. But if you like him and you trust him, then come over and we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the episode in the hot tub?
No.
Oh, that was
That's
another
different.
episode.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a different from it. So that particular night, we started drinking before he got there, and then he showed up at our house, and we opened the door, and I think her and I were scantily clad, and we were all already drinking, and immediately he was like, "I want some of that." Like, we opened the door, and he just automatically saw 2 girls falling all over each other and drinking and scantily clad. And so he came in and it was just immediately comfortable. Like, it was immediately comfortable. And the guys because her and I didn't have a lot of time alone together when the 4 of us were together and we were, being bisexual women, we went upstairs first while the guys sat down and drank and chatted and whatever. We went upstairs first to get started and then they came up a little while later. But when they came into the room, they were all stark naked already. And we cracked up because they planned this, that they would be like disrobe before they even came into the room, and it was just funny. Like, we had a lot of laughs.
Mm-hmm.
And
wouldn't it have been crazy if the person would have showed up and somebody you knew? They're like, "Oh, that would
have been crazy.
That would have been nuts, right?" You're like, "Oh, damn!"
There's always
my
that.
boss.
Has that happened to you?
Well, it had not happened to us, but we did go into it like, we're signing up on these sites. What happens if we do see those people? Well, they had that same thought. They're there for the same reason, and then you wonder, do we follow them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is easy. Right?
Yeah, because that's the thing. At first I thought, what if I see somebody I know on there? And I'm like, well, they're on there too.
Right.
So
I agree.
Yeah, that's.
But I'm just saying,
it
when you had
became,
that
like,
couple
stressful.
that said, well, we have a friend we want to bring over, which,
Yeah,
you
what if-
didn't meet this person on the site, and now you show
Right.
up and it's like your cousin. It's like, oh, shit.
That would have been funny. That would have changed the evening a little bit.
Yeah, I'd be like, damn it.
Yeah, I'm going to need another shot.
Yeah. Sodium pentothal.
But we were I don't remember. It was like a 2-3 hours worth that night, and I was freaking exhausted. We were exhausted.
Yeah, I can
afterwards.
imagine. Yeah, that's a long time. That's why I like the bigger groups, because you could always just finish and leave. And when I was doing it, though, we were a lot younger, so we reloaded a lot quicker. So, you could still go back in there, and then but we used to have so many people coming in and out of our parties all the time that there was always new people,
Yeah.
So it's like when that group ended, you could wind up in another room with somebody else. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, you have a first string, a second string, a
Yeah,
third
I was
string.
probably like 120 pounds. I had like an 8-pack on my stomach
Yeah.
from like just
Oh, wow.
thrusting all the time. Thrusting. That's my sit-ups.
Brian.
That was a good time to do it. You're young. You've got all this
Yeah.
prowess, and got all the stamina. Sure.
It was great.
There was just it was a lot. There was just a lot of warmth and humor, and it was just easygoing. And that couple, when they brought him, he started going after my G spot, and this is the kind of humor that was there. He starts going after my G spot, and it made me like. He was being aggressive about it, and the pleasure was intense, and I sat right up like, oh my gosh. And Tim's like, well, I guess we're getting your phone number. And everybody in the room starts laughing.
Oh,
And then that same couple, we went on our an overnight RV trip with them, and we had a really fun evening in their RV.
We pulled up and parked, and there was a religious family next to us. When we woke up in the morning, they were gone. We were up at like 6 a.m. and they disappeared.
Yeah, I saw our RV rocking.
You think they heard? Maybe they heard you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
If they didn't hear, they weren't. I mean, even if they were in their RV.
Well,
they
and it
heard.
was funny too because the man of the couple was rough. He was like just a rough guy. When I say rough, I don't mean like he didn't beat me or anything, but he was just a rough guy. He wasn't like gentle. Yeah. And Tim, conversely, is a tender lover, wonderful tender lover. And so I used to love getting the rough from him, and his wife used to love getting the tender from Tim. It was just different. Well, that night we were in the RV, and you know how small RV bedrooms are, and he's banging me really hard. And I don't know if it was Tim or the wife had their hand protecting my head from hitting it on the.
Oh no, that wasn't me. That was
yeah,
me.
you
That
were
wasn't me.
protecting my head from it slamming against the. So at that particular moment, they weren't doing. I don't even think you were doing anything with her. You were just like we were taking turns or something.
it's just so funny to hear Monica
So
go,
yes, I
"Aw."
think
So Tim is letting somebody slam his wife, but Tim has got his hand above her head, and Monica goes, "Aw." That just sounds so insane.
It wasn't weird to us though. Is that weird? It wasn't strange to us. Is that
no? Of
is that
course not.
weird?
I get it in the moment. It's not
I'm actually
weird.
thinking, oh, that's so romantic.
Exactly. That's what's blowing my mind right now. Monica's thinking this is romantic, and I'm like, Monica, listen to the story again.
I did.
I
Oh,
think it was romantic.
from that point
I
on,
think
like
so.
Tim would bring little pillows with him and everything. You know, this is for your head, honey. Put a strap.
After that particular incident, the girls got back together, and C and I sat down with a beer and a bag of
Animal cookies.
animal cookies. Yeah, the candy covered animal cookies. We just sat there and shared as we're watching the girls drinking their beer and animal cookies. It was
Well,
good times right there.
and I remember saying to her, one of these days I want to massage you. I've never massaged a woman. And 2 seconds later, he's pouring massage oil all over her so he could watch me massage her. And that's when you guys sat down with your snack, I think.
Wow,
It was
that's funny.
It was good times. It's what, the thing is, again, if you would have told me that we'd be doing that, I'd been like, oh, we're not doing that. But as you expose yourself to things, they get less shocking.
Mm-hmm, right.
So that doesn't mean it's for everybody. I'm not trying to say that at all.
Of course. Let's fast forward now. When did you realize, okay, I've had enough of this? Did you find out? Did you have enough of it?
I think that, unfortunately, that couple they ended up divorcing, not because of this stuff, because multiple reasons. And so we didn't end up staying in touch with them. And I think what ended up happening was we just didn't run in those circles anymore. We did a lot. You have to wade through a lot of garbage to find the gems.
Mm-hmm.
And, I didn't get a lot of pleasure out of meeting strangers all the time. And we met some really great couples that it didn't work out with, that we wished it would have worked out with, which, there was a story about one of them that I think Tim was starting to tell earlier. But I think it was just that we started not running in those circles anymore. I think we just decided to get off the sites because we didn't want to.
Did you feel like a
meeting new
gambleaholic or like an alcoholic or like a drug addict where you're just kind of like, oh, I'm just done. I'm over this. I can't do this anymore. I feel like it's draining me.
No, I think it just ended naturally.
I didn't care. I liked having a certain number of friends that we could do that with. I didn't want to meet new people all the time. I didn't want to expand that
You
to
just
be
wanted
sleeping with new people all the
Group
time.
friends with benefits.
I did. That's what I wanted. And I think I just got unexciting about trying, because you meet a lot of people you're not interested in before you meet the ones you are. And then we just started like meeting a lot of people through our son's school and sports that we didn't run in the circles. And we never tried to convert anybody to be like us, you know?
No.
Right.
If they weren't already in that lifestyle,
That doesn't work.
you know, then that was that. Like we didn't want to convert somebody. We had one experience where there was a girl that was very flirtatious that Tim knew, and we had gotten very close to him getting together with her. Because I had an experience alone with a guy, and I wanted him to be able to have that same experience with a girl. But she ended up not being the right girl, and we ended up canceling it before it happened. And we promised at that point we would never try to get together with somebody that wasn't already, didn't really already.
Why wasn't she the right
live that
girl?
lifestyle.
She did not have a vagina?
She was trying to get him to woo her for the sex.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that was her her
It
journey,
turned out to
her
be more of a
fantasy.
date, and she wanted more.
Yeah,
Right?
it was, but that wasn't on the
It even her
table.
fantasy.
Okay.
I wasn't offering that.
Okay.
I wasn't offering him to do that. And he wasn't looking for that. We weren't looking for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she wanted to be wined and dined, and the whole dating thing kind of
For one night or
situation.
just for over a period of time?
for one night.
Oh,
for
that would
one
have been
night.
pretty
Well,
romantic. That would have been more romantic than the head on the pillow.
What about intimacy? Like, is there a moment or things that you're afraid your partner's going to do that is actually not sexual that can be considered like intimate or
Like
caring?
going out on a date and wooing them?
Yeah. Like, is that something? How do you? Because I guess this goes back to how I was setting rules. Let's just say the two people, like, I'm trying
How
to
about
think of something
they
that
finish
people.
Monica and now they're cuddling together.
Yes.
You're right,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. I'm trying to think of an intimate act like cuddling or caressing each other's hairs or kissing very slowly. I mean, I'm trying to think of things that are, acts that are not so sexual but are more intimate.
No, that was good. I got what you mean.
I think there was I think after it was done, we'd all hang out like friends. I didn't really feel like it wasn't romantic. It didn't feel romantic.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I never worried about the way he looked at her, whichever her. Like I didn't think it. I never worried about that because I knew his heart wasn't invested, and we were adventuring together.
Right. Okay.
And I think
Okay.
same for you, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's well put.
Okay, so just based off that question I was going to ask, so there was never any moment of jealousy in any of those encounters?
Well, I didn't feel good when I knew this girl was trying to woo him. I didn't feel good about that. I was like, no, or she wanted him to woo her. I was like, nope, that's not what we're offering. So I would say that's the only moment of jealousy I ever felt.
So Tim, you didn't say that guy's cock is bigger than mine. I'm fucked.
No, there's nothing I can do about mine. I do the best I can with it.
Just saying.
And if she wants a bigger one, go for it.
She wants
Yeah, I
7
want her to have
inches
that
with girth.
experience.
I'm just going to let you know now. That's what she said.
I heard that episode.
I said if I had my own dick, Brian.
And we said that was the max. We didn't say that was the minimum.
He's never going to let us live that one down. There was one issue with Tim when the guy that we met in the jacuzzi, I ended up IMing with him afterwards, and I went too far in the flirtations with him, and that it happened to be a time where Tim was going through something completely unrelated that was emotional in his life, and that hit him at the wrong moment. So I think that's the only time you've ever.
That is the only time.
And he communicated it with me, and I felt horrible because we never wanted to do anything to hurt each other. But
Right.
and the other deal that we had was that we would never take one for the team. Meaning,
Oh, yeah.
if I liked the guy and he didn't like the girl, or he liked the girl and I didn't like the guy, that we wouldn't force the other one to be with someone they didn't like, so we could be with someone we did like.
Well,
and that kind of started to happen in that couple.
well,
because-
since we fuck fruit, it's really not us. It's for you guys. Right?
What? What does that mean?
You said it yourself. Guys will fuck fruit. Right? We don't give a shit about the
Oh
girl.
yeah, well, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example right now of the deal breaker where he was in the bad situation.
Okay.
And I didn't mention this when the jacuzzi first came up in the last episode because we weren't really getting into a big conversation about it at the time. But this particular guy that I was enjoying in the jacuzzi had a partner who he was not enjoying in the jacuzzi. But it was dark and I couldn't totally make out what was happening with him. And I found out later that she was going down on him and she couldn't do it without her teeth.
Oh.
And
Yeah. I'm not into hitting women. I came close. So I kept trying to tell her, you got to back off. You got to you stop. And she kept going at it. And I'm like, fuck, stop.
Wow.
It wasn't good.
So when I found that out, I felt really, really bad. Because when I
Yeah.
was in the jacuzzi and I'm looking at him, there was 6 of us that night. Oh, we said 5 was the most we ever did. It was actually 6 in the jacuzzi. It was 6.
And then there was 2 sitting off on the side that didn't want to participate.
Or nobody was into them. One or the other.
And the golden retriever and the pit bull that were sitting down the other side. It's going to get, in 20 years, this is going to be a bigger party.
But I mean, there were other combinations that night where he did have fun. He did not have fun at all. Like there were, he still was with the girl of the couple that we were with regularly. They hosted this party.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at his face and I'm like, I think he doesn't look like he's having fun, but I can't tell because it's dark and I should have stopped right there and rescued him. I should have went over and interrupted, and
nobody likes
in the
a
moment
cheeky
I just didn't
blowjob. I'm
handle
sorry.
it right.
It just doesn't work. So in that case, Tim, I don't tell them to stop. I just stop them from blowing me. Then I jerk it right in their, just rub right in their face.
Jesus
Noted.
Christ.
Note to self. That was
Well,
kind
that's
of
one
a
of
thing
the
of
things
ours.
that used to
is
get me off when I was
yeah.
like, when we were doing all that stuff. Part of it was being like the showman, like, the showman and like the one that just, I don't care rubbing one out in front of you. That's kind of turns me on, like,
Yeah.
you're with your girl or something like that. And you're just, they're watching you do that. Like, I love watching people like, my girls masturbate and stuff like that. That was cool.
Yeah.
Just stop blowing me. I'm going to take care of this. You just watch.
There was a TV show on called Swingtown for a little while in the early 2000s, maybe. And there's a couple in it that got enticed into a swinging experience by some neighbors in their new neighborhood. And after I think it was the first episode that they had a swinging experience, they wake up the next morning with this ridiculous, stupid grin on their face. And that's how we felt after we did it. We had this stupid grin on our face. Like, that was so much fun. Like,
I felt that way after my first massage parlor experience.
All right.
Wow, these really exist. They exist. This is great.
I can do this whenever I want.
Yep. $60 and I could go home and go to bed. Nice.
Yeah.
So something Brian mentioned that M also asked him about or mentioned, what about all the fluids? Don't you worry about all the fluids going around?
See, I told you this, Monica. At 50, yes, I worry about the fluids. At 19, 20, I never worried about the fluids.
When you say worry, do you mean like...
I just don't want a mommy.
It's
just
going to have a lot of fluids from men, women, everyone.
Part of what would happen is during the original meetup, talking to each other and getting to know each other, the question would come up, are you clean? Do you have any problems?
Mm-hmm.
How's your health? And more often than not, I don't think we ever heard we're not clean. We always heard that they were clean, and we could prove it if we needed to, and that it would just start from there. So the only real fluids that exchanged were mostly saliva, just kissing back and forth,
or blowjobs, going to kissing and stuff like that. One thing I had an issue with is I kind of have a saliva thing. Like I can't stand watching people spit and stuff like that. So if a girl is going down on him, it has to be dried off before I can go down on him. I can't share spit with another woman at the same time.
Yeah.
I did that once, I think, successfully. But beyond that, I didn't really have any issue because condoms were changed regularly. Like if somebody went in somebody and then in somebody else, the condom would get changed.
Oh my God, that's a lot of work.
Well, yeah, but you do it because it's
I
safe.
get it. I get it.
Because even if somebody, we weren't making people prove that they had a clean bill of health, which probably today I would if we were to do it again.
And we were never asked to prove our health either.
Right.
Yeah, we were never used. We knew we were clean, but we were never asked to prove it. So, I think the condoms were just safe.
Well, that's fair. So how long ago, when was the last time you had this experience? How long's it been?
Well,
long time.
That scenario of us going out and having like swinger experiences like that was like 16 years ago. Well, no, less than 16 because we did it for 2 years. I think we did it for about 2 years. So you've been out of
the group sex game for about 14 years now. Do you crave it? Would you like to go back to it? No? You're like, that was just a fun time. I had a good time. Let's just remember.
I think our mentality ever since then was if the situation was right, we would talk about it. So I don't think we've ever been closed down, but we just weren't running that circle. So it's not going to come up unless we're intentional about it. Mm-hmm. But if the situation was right, we'd be open about it.
Yeah.
And obviously it just depends. Like, I've had female relationships and that's another person to consider. And, like, it just depends on what's going on in our world. So
Is there a best number of people to have in group sex? Like, is it better to have, like, if you have 3, what is a good combination?
probably an even number.
Yeah, I think my best experiences was with 4.
4?
Yeah, I think that's my best experience, just because they're 2 guys, 2 girls, and everybody's getting equal time.
Okay.
I always like the more
everybody's getting
girl
something.
to guy ratio.
Oh, that's a fun one. I'm not going to deny that, but I have a preference. I think I'd go with a couple.
Were there times where we got together with C and S and you and I were together and they were together? There was, right? We just were all in the same room, like we'd switch to our partner.
Yeah.
Well, that just defeats the purpose.
No, because there's something hot about doing it with somebody else right near you.
That's why I just stick with that person right near you, right? Because you could go home and do each other. It's
Yeah.
just,
But it was part of it. It wasn't like only us. It was, they're switching around.
I would see like give
It's
you
just
like
part
a
of it.
peck or something like that, but I'm going back to the strange.
No, because we had so much appreciation for each other that we could do this together, that I think in the moment I like, oh, I want to kiss you now, or we gravitate towards each other too.
Yeah, we'd reach out and hold each other's hands.
See, Monica, that's romantic.
Yeah, like there's been times where the other guy was in me and I'm holding his hand, or he's, I don't know what something he was doing, whether inside another girl or going down on her or something, and I'd touch him, or there's definitely that closeness. We had that.
I probably would have fist bumped. You believe we're doing this?
Yeah, there's that. That's true.
Exactly. Wow, Monica, you thinking about it now?
No.
She's like,
no,
no,
it's
I'm
okay.
not.
I'm definitely not that type of outgoing, extra adventurous. I'm not.
How about you, D? You
I don't think
interested
it
now?
will happen.
How do you know he hasn't?
No.
No, it's like no. Well, it's not. The whole point isn't to convert people,
Right.
It's great to listen to. I don't even like really watching the porn versions of this. It's still too much going on for me.
But it's actually more common than people think, because a lot of people I've talked to have said they've had these experiences.
There's a lot of pineapple shirts out there.
Monica, you didn't have this experience at college? Nothing like that? Nothing?
No, I'm not lying. I haven't.
I believe you're not lying.
One-on-one. Me and one guy. That's it.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not for everybody. That's true.
Yeah, don't you kind of wish you tried it though, Monica?
I don't know. It's not, it's not something that I have in my head as a fantasy.
Okay.
Like, I guess that's why I've never tried it, because it's not something I fantasize about. I don't know why. I just don't.
Well, if it ever comes up, you could always try toys first with your partner, just to see how it feels. That's just a
You
thought.
mean like a blow-up doll?
Yep.
No.
No.
A dildo.
Like, in other words, one in the mouth, one inside the
Oh,
one
okay.
between
Okay.
the
Okay.
legs.
Yeah.
Simulate two
Okay.
guys.
Yeah.
Try it, Monica.
Yeah,
Or,
something
you
like
know,
that.
Unless you want another girl, then I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Can't simulate that so easily.
Fleshlights exist, people. You can have a fleshlight.
Yeah, a fleshlight. Get a fleshlight.
Fleshlight, yep.
What's a fleshlight?
Oh boy.
Oh. D, let's
Not
send
a
her one.
flashlight, right? You're not talking about a flashlight. You're talking.
No.
Instead of the lens of the flashlight, you have
It's like a vaginal opening.
female genitalia
Yeah.
on the front of it. Yeah,
Oh, I've seen pictures of those. Okay.
Yeah.
that's
okay.
a
It's like the
flashlight.
shake weight, but for your cock.
Right. Okay.
Even though it's not something that we're living like we did back then, I'm really happy we had the experiences. I have great memories.
So no
But
regrets. That was
but
one
it
of
could
my
happen
last
again if the right
questions.
opportunity
regrets.
comes up.
It
You're
can.
not throwing it out the window, right? You're just
Absolutely
saying,
not.
Yeah. Okay.
No, absolutely no regrets.
Tim, is there a part of you
Not
that
at all.
says, I really, really want to do this? I want Tess to bring it up, though.
No,
Okay.
not at all. And I feel safe enough saying to her that, hey, I think we should try
We've
this.
talked about it so often. It's always an open topic of conversation.
Yeah.
I think for me, sometimes the cautious side of me wins out over my adventurous side. Like, can we go out and find somebody that, of course, like, it's not hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
I think just I just get to the point where I'm like, well, do we want to take our chances? We don't want any drama. Do we want, it ends up being like more about that for me at this point. But if the situation was right, yeah. I actually have a bucket list item. I want to be with 2 girls at once.
Oh, there you go. Tim, make it happen.
He supports it.
But that's another difficult situation, is having to choose for her. I don't know who she's going to like or who she's going to be attracted to, so I let her do the choosing.
That's fair. Choose wisely, Tess.
He's pretty much not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've made good choices so far.
Look, you can see her wheels spinning and she's flashing back right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, yeah. Mm-hmm. I would have to agree.
Well, like I said, I think this was a really cool conversation. I thank you guys for opening up and sharing your intimate lifestyle together with everybody. I think it's awesome. And
I feel like I have questions I should have asked that I didn't ask, but I can't think of them right now.
We can always do a part 2.
Yeah.
The one thing that I really don't like about it is when people find out that you're in this lifestyle or you've been in this lifestyle, they automatically think that you're fucking everything.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that, like, that girl over there, that guy over there, everybody, they just want to all have sex. That's not
well, they
the
thought
case.
that with me.
I've
Tim.
lost friends because
I kept telling everybody I was.
Well, yeah, well. But I've lost friends because I've shared this, and they think I want to fuck them, and no, that's not the case. I don't want to bring you into this lifestyle. I'm just sharing with you who I am. And all right, fine. If you don't want to be my friend because of this, then you weren't meant to be my friend to begin with.
He was much better about that than I was. Yeah.
And I'm still there. If they needed somebody to help them move or do whatever, I'd still be there for them. But they don't call me. I call them. They avoid me.
They avoid because they think you want to move your cock into their girl.
Right.
Even as a single person, everybody you meet, you don't want to fuck everybody you meet.
Yeah.
So why would they think that as a couple?
That's exactly right.
Don't.
Right. But the word swinger means that you want to get out there and that's all you do is have sex.
Or try to convert everyone. They assume you're going to try to convert everyone. Yeah. Yeah, he was much better about that than me because, like, 15 years ago, whenever it was, I don't know, I keep throwing random numbers out, but whenever it was, when we had those bad experiences with people where we got dealt with a little bit of persecution over it, I was like, we can't do this. We cannot do this. We can't come out of the closet. We can't tell people who we, like. And he's like, back then, he's like, sure we can. They're not, they don't understand who we are. They're not really our friends. He was fine with it. He never felt like he had to hide it. But I panicked and then
it was a fear of being judged. A lot of people don't like to be judged.
Yeah.
And then I turned 50.
It's the beauty of my lifestyle was, in my world, it was easy because I have such a big mouth and I tell everybody everything. Nobody's shocked by what I have to say anymore. So even back then,
there's something to that.
Like when I was doing that when I was a kid, I expect Brian to do that. So you know what I mean? Like it was just, that's no big deal.
There really is something to that because I've dealt with that a lot.
Yeah.
People go, oh, I wouldn't expect that from you. I've dealt with that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know what that's like too. Like when I talk to people about how I was when I was young, as you guys have heard in all these episodes, people are like, oh my God, Monica, you? I'm like, what do you think I do? Pray, or like,
so I don't have time to pray. I'm going to the supermarket.
I know I'm going to the supermarket and complain about all the people at the supermarket.
That's right.
Oh, that's funny.
Hey, I just remember seeing a video of somebody here be very happy that they bought a vacuum at their house and vacuuming their house as if they were really happy about it. Like the best thing in the world.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know what? Like I said,
there's nothing wrong with that at all.
So I think you're saying it's okay to get old.
I love anything that's
I love everything that's
Oh God. I don't know if Tim saw it, but yeah, Tim.
I shared it.
Yep. That is the sound of me vacuuming.
That's fantastic.
And it's not just the sound, it's how happy he is while he's doing it.
You know what? When you get to be your 50s, a woman can really be turned on by a man doing housework.
That's so true,
Absolutely.
right? You see how quick she brought the camera out, right?
Yeah.
That's the bragging rights to go tell all of her friends. Look what my man does.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. I thought it was funny that she actually sent it.
I was so surprised.
Yeah, she's got a good sense of humor.
It was great.
Well, thanks again, Tim, for coming on.
Thank you.
Love
Thank
seeing
you, Tim.
Tim.
Thank you,
Oh,
Tess.
absolutely.
That was really
Thank
Thank you
good.
for having me.
Yeah, thanks for sharing the intimacy, Monica. Thanks for being Monica Walters Cronkite. Dee, thank you so much for listening to us and producing us. You're the best.
Yep.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Yes.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Enjoyed the group chat.
Yes.
More than the group sex.
So that's our show for today. We hope it was as good for you as it was for us. Please let us know how we're doing. Email us at 2.5chicks@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at 2.5chicks. And let us know if there's something you want to talk about or you want to even come on the show and talk with us. We would love that. Big shout out to our producer Dee, who keeps us going week after week. Keep checking back. Season 3 is still underway.